You don't have a motivation problem. If anything, you have too much vision. You can see the life you want so clearly it almost hurts. You picture the version of yourself who's disciplined, focused, consistent. You imagine the work done, the money earned, the respect gained. For a few seconds, it feels real. And then, nothing happens. You open your laptop, you stare at the screen, you tell yourself you'll start in 5 minutes. Somehow, an hour disappears. By the end of the day, you feel that familiar weight in your chest, the quiet guilt of knowing you could have done more. This isn't laziness in the way people usually mean it. It's something subtler and a lot more common than you think. There's a specific type of person this happens to. Ambitious, self-aware, capable. The kind of person who thinks deeply about their future, but struggles to translate that thinking into movement. The hardest part isn't the delay, it's the internal split. One part of you wants growth, expansion, progress. Another part wants comfort, safety, familiar ground. And when those two parts collide, you freeze. It helps to understand that this reaction isn't random. Your brain is wired to conserve energy and avoid unnecessary risk. Big goals look exciting on the surface, but underneath they carry uncertainty, effort, the possibility of failing publicly or privately. Your system doesn't hate your dreams, it just prefers predictability. So when the moment comes to start something difficult, your mind offers a softer option. Check your phone, watch something quick, do something easy that gives you a small sense of relief. That relief feels good, not dramatic, just enough to take the edge off. Over time, that pattern strengthens. Discomfort leads to distraction. Distraction leads to relief. Relief reinforces the escape. And slowly, starting begins to feel heavier than avoiding. This creates a quiet friction in your life. You know you're capable, you can feel it, but your daily behavior doesn't match your internal standards. That gap can chip away at your confidence if you're not careful. It's tempting to think the answer is more motivation, a new morning routine, a powerful speech, a surge of inspiration. But motivation is unstable. It depends on sleep, mood, stress, weather. Some days it's there, some days it disappears completely. If your entire system depends on feeling inspired, you'll only move when conditions are perfect. Instead of chasing motivation, it's often more useful to reduce resistance. Look at your environment. If your phone is next to you, you'll probably touch it. If your workspace is cluttered, your mind will mirror that chaos. These aren't personality flaws, they're design issues. Small changes can shift everything. Put your phone in another room, turn off notifications before you begin, clear your desk at night so tomorrow's starting point is clean. When the easiest action available is the productive one, you don't need to argue with yourself as much. Another layer of this pattern is perfectionism. High standards sound noble, but sometimes they quietly block progress. If the first version has to be impressive, starting feels risky. If you don't start, you don't have to face imperfection. So you wait for the right energy, the perfect plan, a better version of yourself. Meanwhile, time keeps moving. Almost anything meaningful begins as something average, a rough paragraph, a messy outline, an awkward first attempt. Quality is usually the result of repetition, not intensity. There's also a trap that looks productive on the surface: endless preparation, watching videos about success, reading about discipline, researching strategies. It feels aligned with your goals, but learning can become a comfortable substitute for doing. At some point, you probably already know the next step. It might not be exciting, it might be small, but it's clear. Instead of thinking about the entire future, shrink the frame. 15 minutes, one paragraph, one call, one concrete action that moves something forward. Once you begin, the resistance usually softens. Movement builds momentum faster than thinking ever will. It's also worth asking whether your goals have quietly become overwhelming.
When expectations grow massive and undefined, your nervous system can interpret them as pressure instead of possibility.
Ground your ambition. Break it down until it feels manageable. Not easy, just doable. And when you slip, because you will, resist the urge to attack yourself. Harsh self-criticism doesn't create discipline, it creates avoidance. If work becomes associated with shame, your brain will naturally avoid it. A bad day doesn't have to become a bad identity. Reset, adjust, try again tomorrow, but in a smaller, more concrete way. You don't need to transform your entire life tonight. You just need to interrupt the pattern once. Close this video. Pick one small task. Do it before your mind has time to negotiate. Not because you're broken, but because you're capable. And capability only becomes real when it moves. Your future isn't waiting for a perfect version of you. It's waiting for the version who starts.